Hello dear student, welcome to this new session. In this session we are going to look at a past exam paper. The year is 2006 and the question that we are going to attempt is question 1A. So I'll give you a summary of this question. You're given a toy and you have to assemble the toy, and the toy is sold as a kit, which means that it will contain the different parts that you have to put together. You have been given the body of the toy duck, you have 4 wheels, and you have 2 axles, and to join the axles to the wheels you have a PVA glue, which is an adhesive. So in part A, you have been asked to draw the orthographic views showing the fully assembled toy. This is the side view, and there are 2 holes in which we are going to insert this dowel, and then finally we are also going to insert the wheels at the end of the dowels. We have to show the side view and the top view. Here it is written the plan. In the original question, there is space right below the question. So since I have customized this question so as I can print it, we are going to start off with how it was pre-printed in the original question. In the original question paper, you have to start the drawing as from this wheel, which means that this wheel should be drawn here, and then we're going to move upwards. There will be 2 wheels which would be mounted on these axles, which should be inserted in these 2 holes. So let's get started. First of all, we're going to start off the drawing with the wheel, with this one. The radius for this wheel is 25 since the diameter is 50. So I'll take my compass, I'll measure 25, and then I'm going to draw a center line. This center line is going to be horizontal. Once you have drawn the center line, you have to make sure that you have sufficient space on the left side of the paper, because we're going to draw the wheel here. I have to also draw this part. So I'm going to leave sufficient space, and then I'm going to draw the vertical center line, which I'm going to place around here. And once I have drawn it, so this is this point. Now I'm going to draw the wheel here. The distance between the first wheel and the second wheel is 30 plus 70. So I'm going to measure 100, and I'm going to mark the location for the second wheel, which is going to be here, and then I'll draw the center line. From this center I'm going to draw the second wheel. Now we have to bear in mind that there is a dowel which should be inserted in this hole. So we're going to draw this circle. The radius is 8 divided by 2, which would be 4. So I measure 4 on my ruler, and then I'm going to draw the circle. So one reminder here, you have to take your time to draw the smaller circles, because they tend to get distorted if you go too quickly. Okay, once you have drawn these two circles, we are going to draw this part. The distance from this center till here is 24. I'm going to measure 24 from this point, which lies on this center, and then I will draw a horizontal line here, and this is going to be a very faint line. After drawing this line, I have to measure 30 millimeters from here to locate this center. The distance from this center till this extremity is 30 millimeters. So I'm going to measure 30 millimeters from this center, and then I'm going to draw a very faint line here. Distance from this point till the center is 40, since the radius is 40. So I'll measure 40 here. I will mark the position, the center, which is going to be here, and I'm going to do the same for the left part. So I'll measure this distance, which is 30, draw a vertical line like this, then measure 40 millimeters to locate this center now. Once I have obtained these 2 points, I will measure 40 millimeters on my ruler. Then I'm going to draw an arc. The reason I stopped this arc here is because it is not going to be visible behind the wheels, so it is irrelevant to draw it. The distance from here till here it is 40, so I'm going to mark this line. I'll draw a small arc here and here so that these 2 lines are parallel, and then finally I'm going to draw a line. And that's this part we have completed. Now we're going to move upwards. The radius of this arc, it is 100. So we can draw this arc by measuring 100 from this point. So we measure 100 from this point to obtain the center here, and then we measure 100 on our ruler, and then we draw this arc. So I leave it like this. Now we are going to move to the left hand side. The distance from here till the center of this circle, it is 60 plus 24 plus 16, which is equal to 100. So I'll measure 10 centimeters from here and draw a very faint vertical line, and then mark it at. So we have obtained the center. And now we are going to draw this circle. The radius for this circle is 30, so we measure 30 in our ruler. And then we draw this circle. And this also we have to draw a very faint circle for the time being. We have this line and we have this arc. What we have to do is that, first of all, we have to draw an arc from where it touches the center line, and the radius for this arc is 10 millimeters. So let's do it. So first of all, I measure 10 millimeters, and from this center line I draw an arc here. I draw a second arc here. Where these two arcs, now I'll draw one arc here and then one more arc here. We have obtained the center for this arc. Once you have drawn this arc, we are going to draw this part, which is the beak of this duck. The distance is 10. So I assume that this distance is also 10. So I draw a horizontal line here, and I'll measure 5 millimeters on my compass, and then I'll draw an arc here and here, and also I'll measure 10 millimeters here, and then finally I'm going to draw the beak. So we are almost done with this part. Now we have to draw this arc. To locate the center for this arc, we can measure 30 plus 40, which is going to give us 70. So first of all, let me stretch this line, and then here we can measure 70. From this point, I'm going to draw an arc which would have a radius of 40 millimeters. So now we are mostly done with this top part. I'm going to outline it later on. Let us move to the plan. So here we are going to leave around 15 millimeters here, and then we are going to start off the drawing. To draw the plan, we have to take into consideration the thickness of this body as well as the thickness of the wheels. The catching point in this question is that the axle is 64 millimeters. If we are going to sketch this, so this is the body of the duck from the top view. We have to draw the wheels. One would be here, the second one would be here, the third one and the fourth one will be here. Actually, when we sum these distances, it gives us 60 millimeters. Since we have been given the dowel which has the length of 64, it means that 2 millimeters will be here and 2 millimeters will be here. So the distance from this point till here, it is 64. We're going to measure 64. And then we are going to draw another faint line. We are going to draw a line here. We have to measure 20 millimeters, and again we have to draw another line here, which would be 20 millimeters. So these two lines, this space, it caters for the wheels. Next, what we have to do is that we have to add 2 millimeters here. These 2 millimeters would be for the space that we have to leave between the wheels and the body. We know that the end of the body will be here, so we draw a line here. The position for the wheel is here. So this is the position for the first wheel. I'm going to draw the axle, which will appear here and here, as well as here and here. Since the axle will not be visible through the wheel, I'm going to draw broken lines here. This will represent that the axle has been inserted, and I do same for the other wheel. Okay, now I'm going to repeat the same step for the wheel here. And draw the line here. The axle will be here and here, as well as here and here, and I'm going to draw the broken lines, which will represent the dowel or the axle which has been inserted inside the wheel. From the top, from the plan, this part will be visible, which means that if we draw a vertical line, this part only will be visible. So I draw it here. So coincidentally, it will be slightly on the same line as the wheel. And then this part will be visible. So I draw the line here. And then finally, we're going to see the beak of the duck, which will be here, and it will be here. One more part that we have to add is that when we look from the top, this part will not be visible. So we have to extend this by drawing a broken line. Now we have completed side view and the plan. I'm now going to outline the drawing So here you are, the final drawing, and as you can see there are certain lines which I did not erase because in the question paper you see at the bottom it asks you not to erase construction lines. I thank you for your attention and see you in the next one.